You very much. I have a question.
Yes, of course.
You made some very pointed allegations indicating that ACTNOW believes that the partisanship in the Senate, and you said the Assembly too, but in the partisanship pointed argument that you raise, has ACTNOW done any type of electoral analysis about the districts that were proposed in the Senate?
Yes, I mean, what we do, as I
In
mentioned.
that analysis, did you look at enrolled voters and how many of those districts that were proposed in the Senate plan last week, how many of them have more enrolled Republicans than Democrats?
No, we did not do that.
And how can you claim that it is a partisan plan? You based your statement that it is a pointedly partisan plan. That was your comment. Now, I want to know, for the record, what analysis has been undertaken by your organization to make that claim?
Well, as I attempted to explain, as an all-volunteer organization, we don't have paid political staff. We don't have a team of analysts sitting, and looking over the maps on a day-to-day basis. We just simply don't have that capacity.
Then how can you make that?
What we do,
what evidence?
what
let
we
me
are
ask
able
you
to
this.
do.
You
Yes.
made a statement,
Yes.
and I think that you seem like a very honest person, and that it seems as though that statement would have to be based in some type of fact. What is the analysis that led you to make that statement?
Well,
If you haven't looked at the enrollments of those districts, you haven't appeared to analyze the individual demographics of those districts, then how can you make a statement that's not based on any electoral or enrollment data?
right, of course, it's a legitimate question. What we do is we rely on organizations that do have the staff to do that kind of analysis. We do have to rely on analysis that is done by organizations that have the capacity to do it. So, for instance, if you're denying that the upstate districts are smaller and that the downstate districts are larger in population size, I mean, I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that the reports I've read are wrong. But this is my understanding
then
from what I
tell
have
me this.
read.
I understand.
Okay.
And you're making your pointed partisan mapping drawing allegation based on what you believe other organizations have said. Would you tell me which organization conducted an analysis, Republican to Democrat? You said partisan. Republican to Democrat, indicating that there are districts that are pointedly partisan in their creation. So tell me what groups have said that, or what basis of your allegation, what allegations are you basing your allegation on?
Well, what we have done from the very beginning is to call for an independent process. And the reason that we do that is because it's really impossible to know what happens behind closed doors. It's really impossible to know if you are making these decisions based on partisan aims.
So saying then you don't know.
Absolutely, we don't know. How could I possibly know for sure?
Would be a very accurate assessment. Let me share with you someone just gave me enrollment that of the 63 Senate districts that we put forward last week. Now, I'm not sure this is accurate, but I certainly think it should be analyzed for accuracy. There are 63 Senate districts created. 48 of them have a majority Democrat enrollment. 15 of them, by voter registration, have a majority Republican enrollment. 48 Democrat, 15 Republican. Do you have any information that counters that?
No, but I haven't actually looked at that particular information, but I'd love to know
again,
where
you're
you
making
where you got
an
it.
argument about partisanship. And to me, partisanship is defined as Republican, Democrat. The word party is in the root of partisanship, and that's political party. I guess I'm disappointed, frankly, that you would be making such a pointed charge without having done any independent review yourself. And you know, the size of the districts, the shapes of the districts, whatever you want to claim is at least the assessment you could make. But the fact of the matter is, you said partisanship. And I think it's unfair to say that this is a loaded partisan question when, in fact, if these facts are accurate, that it's more than 2-to-1 Democrat majorities in the 63 districts that were put forward.
Okay, I can't imagine this is the first time you've heard that this is considered to be a partisan process. The reason that 80% of New Yorkers have said they would like a nonpartisan process is because they assume that the process as it exists is partisan. And what I haven't heard you say is that I'm not correct that the upstate districts are smaller and that the downstate districts are larger. Is that incorrect?
That's not based on partisanship.
But is it correct? Is that the case? Are they smaller upstate?
Each district,
and are they larger downstate?
Each district that the Senate pro-offered are in full compliance with the deviations accepted by the United States Supreme Court for state legislative districts. They also are in full compliance with the state constitution and the federal constitution. Those are laws that are no partisanship. They require strict compliance, and that we believe the plan strictly complies with those tenets. But the question that you raise, basically, is giving a party advantage to one district or series of districts over another. And I only asked you what your source was. Obviously, you had no source, or obviously you didn't do that analysis. That I think that's the issue at hand, and that's why I raised the question, because it's a very loose charge based on absolutely no factual basis.
How would somebody prove your motivations? How would somebody know?
Look at the numbers.
I have looked
the
at
numbers, I think, these numbers disprove the very motivation that you're alleging. That,
How so? How so?
Well, I think that you claimed that there was the Senate drew these lines. The Senate majority is Republican. I indicated to you the number of districts that were Democrat, the majority that.
But how did the numbers disprove partisanship?
I think that I asked how do the numbers disprove partisanship? Well, if there was I think you're the one that made the partisan charge. I mean, I think that's the question. You come to making this charge without any evidence whatsoever, and I guess that's any independently developed evidence based on allegations of other organizations. I think that's the point. You're the one that made the charge. Where is your proof? Where is your indication that there is a partisan taint to the product that was produced by this, other than to say it was done by those who are elected, and that it was not done by an independent commission who or judges who, by the way, are elected as well. So I think that if you're making a statement, making a charge, making an allegation, at the very least, you have the responsibility of backing that allegation up. Go ahead.
Yes, I think what I heard was that traditionally and currently in this plan, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you indicate that the upstate districts are smaller in terms of population. And the numbers in the book that I have bear you out in that in the northern regions or the most upstate regions, districts up there have a deviation that range anywhere from 14,000 to 15,000 negative the population they should have, compared to, let's say, Brooklyn, where you would have a population that ranges 10,000, or that is 10,665 above what it should have. You tend to have more districts where you have more population, so if you multiply that 10,000 by 22 districts, that is very significant. You do the same thing in the Bronx, where the population is about 11,000 plus what it should be. I think what you're trying to get across to this panel is that all districts should be equal and represent one person, one vote. That way, the purpose of redistricting is to make sure that all districts are equal in size. Is that correct?
Precisely.
All right, thank
In
you.
all due respect to all, I think our 5-minute rule disappeared.
No, wait, I
quite
have a
some
right to
time
ask
ago.
question.
You
Sure.
do, you
I have
do
a right to
indeed.
ask question.
Go
I
on.
haven't asked any. The
Yeah.
previous panel stayed
No,
up there for
that's
half
fine.
an
Go
ahead.
hour,
Go ahead.
and you
Ask
extended it by
question.
another 20 minutes.
I don't
Somebody's
mean
gonna
that
cut
as
you
a
off.
criticism.
He's not gonna
Every
cut
time
you-
I
he's not
speak,
gonna
they
cut
try
you
to
off.
cut me off.
He's not cutting you
Every
off.
time I try to speak, this happens. But I think I've proven my point, and the word partisanship has been used not only by you, but by many others. The tactic of reducing the population upstate, where communities may tend to elect a Republican senator or assembly person, has happened for 50 years. In the city, which is traditionally Democratic with respect to the Senate, the numbers have always been higher, so you would get less individuals in that party elected. The addition of the 63rd seat should have happened in the city of New York, where you had a greater growth in population than any other region of the state. That did not happen. Actually, New York City may be robbed of 2 seats in this plan if the numbers were done correctly. Also, you were correct in indicating that the only place where incumbent senators are running against each other is from the minority party in the New York State Senate.
Yeah, I
And when I say minority, I mean political minority. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.